All right, boys, in the first replay here, we're going up against a player. He's playing Bowler, Graveyard, and Barbs. And I believe he has Freezing here as well. I start off with a Hog hitting the tower, and then my Fireball goes a little crazy on all the troops he places to defend it, so it's pretty mint. And this Inferno Dragon's walking up. I'm kind of scared that he's going to freeze, so I go with an Ice Golem just to make sure he has no chance of freezing. Whether he had Incycle or not, I didn't know, so just to be safe rather than sorry. He goes with a Bowler to counter up that Ice Golem. Bit of a hefty commitment for that, but good for him. We went with a Musketeer in the back, and then he goes with a Graveyard into like on top of our Musketeer, and he also freezes as we go Cannon. We go Skellies and Log and Ice Golem. We're trying to defend this, and we do very well, honestly. One of the better defenses I've cooked up recently against a Graveyard freeze push. And here I go in with a Hog thinking he doesn't have much for it. Turns out he has Barbs for my Muskie and then NATO for my Hog. He could have just played Barbs on my entire push. Well, he decided against that, and he was like, nah, I'm going to place both of them. So he used a decent bit of Elixir there, so I knew I was okay with defending that just slightly. Log and Skellies did the job there, but we are down about 2 Elixir, and 30 seconds left until double Elixir. It's getting a little scary, just because I'm realizing he has a lot of counters for my pushes here, and Graveyard Freeze is RNG to the max. It's unpredictable as heck. So we reset, he places a Bowler in the back, I place a Muskie in the back, and I'm thinking Ice Golem here just to tank for that as he goes with the Inferno Dragon. And then here he actually also goes for the Ice Wizard, I believe. He has it selected, there it is. I go with a wasted Ice Spirit, but that's alright. And I go with a Fireball on top of all of that. Beauty Fireball. And the Inferno Dragon actually does take out the Muskie, which kind of sucks. But then our Hog push kind of gets deleted by some Evo Barbs, and he places a Baby Dragon. But I use my Evo Skelly, so oh boy, that was so close. I was so hyped when I saw that there was like 3 Skellies on tower, but somehow King Tower, Normal Tower, and the Baby Dragon, I guess, deleted all of them. So that was unfortunate. We defended this Baby Dragon up. He goes with a Bowler in the back. I Fireball it because I do need the damage, and I felt like I was okay with doing so because he gave me so much Fireball value earlier. And here he's mustering up another valuable Fireball for me. So I definitely take that. He goes with Graveyard. He doesn't really have a tank, but he does go with the freeze. So I had to go with the Cannon, and then I go with the Log. Baby Dragon is locked onto the Musketeer. I use an Ice Golem because I thought the Musketeer was going to die and the Baby Dragon was going to go ham. But nah, we chillin'. Muskie does not get any shots. It's on 1 HP, so it just gets shot down by the tower. And the Bowler just takes out the Ice Golem pretty easy. I go with the Muskie in the back once again. Honestly, glad he didn't have Poison in this matchup, like instead of Freeze, because that always sucks when like you just poison out your Muskie, but it works sometimes, you know. But yeah, here he goes with a gnarly Bowler Graveyard Freeze push. I get a gnarly Fireball, but he still did a decent amount of damage. My Muskie died. I had to use something there. I believe it was an Ice Spirit or something to counter everything up. I go with the Ice Golem Hog, forgetting he has Barbs once again. It's so weird, like seeing Barbs in this type of deck, that I just forgot completely that he had them. But the Musketeer does clean them up with the help of everything else. And I just go with the Cannon to tank for the Bowler. And then I go with another Muskie. The Muskie on the right took out the Ice Wizard. And then the Evo Skellies perfectly defend that Graveyard. I believe it was perfect. It's one of the better counters to it. And here I decided to go in with a Hog with the Evo Skellies. Because I was like, okay, maybe he'll have to Tornado awkwardly and let me get a Hog shot. But nope. He just had a Bowler in cycle. And I was not doing a great job of like counting cycle. But we're still doing all right in this one, up by just a tiny bit. But after this push, you'll see here, he pulls into the lead because he gets a Graveyard Freeze, gets a ton of like gnarly RNG just on my tower. All those Skellies were just hitting for him, and it just sucked. I go in with a Hog and an Ice Golem. This time I get a Fireball down. I also get a Log down. No Hog shot because he has so much defense. He even had Tornado as a backup there, and Ice Wizard to slow it down if he needed. But here I have 2 Muskies locked on top of a Bowler. And then they like kind of go ham and they just take stuff out while he's trying to go in with the Graveyard. Hog gets a shot through everything. So I also get a Fireball because there's 17 seconds left in this match. I go with another Muskie just to try and like back up this one that's almost dead, like half dead. And I go with Skellies. I cycle Log. That was a big mistake though because he went with the Graveyard. And then if he just freezes like he just does there, I might be screwed. So I had to cycle back to another Log real quick. but we were up by way too much to even care if the graveyard got a bunch of damage. We take that W. Really difficult matchup, but we took him down pretty easy. All right, boys, in the second replay here, right about now, I'm at like 19, 20 trophies or so, or medals, whatever you call them, and we're going up against Goblin Giant Pump Recruits. I go with the Hog start to start the match off pretty strong, and then he just goes with Recruits. I log some of their shields out, and here I got to do a little bit of a defense. Get an Ice Golem down, get a Muskie down, just get everything gone. I also use Skellies to keep my Muskie healthy. I see he places a pump. I have a Muskie down. I'm okay with fireballing that right away because I don't want him to get too big of an elixir advantage. And the Muskie's walking down the lane, and he has to use Skelly Drags. I thought he was back to Goblins, bro. He was 2 off. That's why I logged, but is what it is. And we counter up that little Skelly drag there, and we're down like 4 elixir, but he's leaking. Goes with a mini P.E.K.K.A. in the back, maybe predicting I'm going to go with a Hog, but I wouldn't do that at like 6 elixir, bro. Calm down. And then he goes with the Goblin Giant in front of it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I go with the cannon there, and I go with Evo Skellies. He actually arrows them pretty quick. I think he was just going for the cannon, and then he ended up getting Evo Skellies with it. This mini P.E.K.K.A. got a bit scary, kind of misplaced an Ice Spirit there, but luckily the Musketeer and the Ice Golem come in clutch with the help of the tower, take everything out, and we're just vibing over here. And he knows I don't have log because I get to log the mini P.E.K.K.A., so he goes with some cheeky goblins there, knowing I won't predict him. And the goblins, there's only 2 of them, so they won't hit the tower. But I go with the Hog now, and luckily for me, he places a mini P.E.K.K.A. kind of like on the side of his tower, so Hog does get a shot there. And he goes with Skelly Drags, giving me lots of fireball value. And then all I have to do is place my Skellies, and that's all countered up. And we're almost even. I'm like half elixir down, and he doesn't have a pump up anymore. So I'd say so far the game's been real solid. And here's where double elixir starts though, and he is Evo Recruit. So this is where everything can change. I go with a log just to cycle on his tower, and yeah, Evo Recruit's walking down the lane. Not what you want to see, but what else you don't want to see is a Goblin Giant behind them, you know? Oh, man. And then here I go with an Ice Golem. I go with Skellies. I go with an Ice Spirit. I go with Log. I go with another Muskie. I'm trying to defend for my life. Go with another Ice Golem. And again, like Ice Spirit down, he arrows, decent arrows. Mini P.E.K.K.A. was full health that whole time. Kind of hard to see him, but the Evo Skellies pick him up. And crazy good defense. Evo Skellies are walking down the left lane, so I go with a Hog and a Log on the right lane. He also has to go for a mini P.E.K.K.A. because I did catch his goblins with that pre-log. And here I go with the beautiful Ice Golem, kite everything, pull everything together. I go with the Musketeer, kind of fail the placement, so I do have to place Skellies as well on top of that mini P.E.K.K.A. there. I did fireball his pump. I go with a Hog at the bridge, go with the pre-log, knowing he had to go with Recruits because he didn't have goblins or mini P.E.K.K.A. in cycle. And Musketeer gets a bit of damage there. I just go with the Muskie here, go with a nice Ice Golem, kiting everything, just, you know, kamikaze up in here, just going crazy, going ham. And here he does go with the mini P.E.K.K.A. and a Goblin Giant, and he also rages, very scary push. Mid-ladder push, but for some reason it works because I don't know why. And here the Skellies just absolutely clean up everything. I didn't even need the Musketeer, but I did place a Musketeer to defend everything there. And here I think I go with a Hog. Yeah, and he goes with Royal Recruits. I just go with a Log. I catch his Royal Recruits, take the shields off, and then he goes Skelly Drags just to kind of try to deal with my Muskie, and it works out for him. One of them survives on like half HP. I go with Evo Skellies. I went with like some other stuff here. Go with a Muskie kind of in the middle. This mini P.E.K.K.A. I had to log back, but otherwise some solid defense. I'm still over 3,000 HP on both towers, which means I haven't taken over 1,000 HP yet. He actually uses a pump on defense here, which is kind of funny because I go Hog, I go Fireball, take out all the goblins, take out the pump. He goes mini P.E.K.K.A. and my Hog still gets a shot. That's an Ian 77 Hog right there. He goes with it, Goblin Giant in front. Skelly Drags, he's getting desperate at this point because he knows I can finish off this game just like that. I go with a Fireball on his tower. And that right there, boys, is GG. Really solid game against Goblin Giant Recruits. Such a toxic deck. Alright, boys, in what I believe is the third match here. Another replay. That's how we do it. We're at like 1950 at this point. We're on like an 8-game win streak at this point as well. He goes with the Skelly Barrel. I have to go with the Muskie just to counter that up. I didn't have the greatest cycle for it. But it ends up working out flawless on the first defense. Muskie walking down the lane. I go with an Ice Spirit to tank for it, see what he has for it. He has a Royal Delivery. Pretty solid response for that tiny little push I made there. So I go with an Ice Golem Hog as he goes a Hog with his Delivery dude. And he goes with a Cannon and a Knight. I defend his Hog flawlessly, but my Hog is an EN77 Hog. Hits the tower through all of the stuff he placed. And he has a Knight walking down the lane, so he places a Skelly Barrel as well. I place a Muskie for the Knight, and then just log out the skeletons on the Skelly Barrel. And we're absolutely chilling. Basically flawless, just Skelly Barrel death damage, but nothing I could really do about that. We're going to go with a Hog here in front of the Muskie. He goes with a nice Delivery and a Dark Prince for the Hog. Lets my Hog get 2 shots on the tower. Very, very nice for me. Lots of damage. We go into an Ice Spirit, cancel the charge of the Dark Prince. Evo Skelly's on top of all that. Go with the Cannon for the Hog. It targets the Dark Prince first, actually, and then it goes for a Hog, and then it just takes everything out. And we are chilling like a villain, even on Elixir, and I have more damage than him, which is always awesome to see. He's playing a pretty weird deck. As you can see, he's got the Rocket, he's got Skelly Barrel, Executioner, Evo Nighthog. It's weird, but it honestly works for him, I guess, because he is pretty decently high on ladder. Here he goes with the Rocket for my Hog Ice Golem, but because my Ice Golem freezes up the tower, Hog sneaks in that one shot against a Rocket. Very solid little push there. And here the Executioner's walking down the lane. I want to counter that up with saving my Musketeer's health. So I go with an Ice Spirit and a Muskie. Probably should have just gone with the Muskie knowing he had Delivery, but is what it is. I cycle my Skellies trying to get back to the Evo ones because they haven't really been too great in this match. So I figured I can just cycle them there. Here he goes with the Skelly Barrel, and then he goes with the Dark Prince and a Knight. Little push here. I use a Cannon on the Skelly Barrel. I go with a Log, go with a Fireball here. And unfortunately, the Hog does get a shot. But honestly, after using the Cannon for the Skelly Barrel, I'll take that defense all day long. Muskie walking up the lane. He does have Delivery for it. I go with the Muskie in front of it, or an Ice Golem in front of it. And then I go Hog, Ice Spirit, opposite lane. Go with the Log on the Cannon as well. And I force my way into one Hog shot on his tower once again. Go with a Muskie for this little Delivery thing over here. He goes with a Dark Prince and an Evo Knight at the bridge. I go with an Ice Golem trying to bring everything together. Go with a Fireball. I missed the Dark Prince, but it's not the end of the world. Go with Ice Spirit Skellies on the Hog on the right. They do a solid job there. Muskie takes out that Skelly Barrel. Honestly, the Cannon wasn't amazing because I do know he has Hog. I could have just logged the Skellies, but is what it is. We still defended flawlessly. We're going to go with an Ice Golem Hog on the right here, and he just goes with the Rocket for that. So, kind of annoying, but is what it is. Once again, we're still in the lead, doing a solid job on defense as well as on offense, getting those Hog shot chips in. Here, he goes with a Knight in the back, Dark Prince on the opposite lane. I'm countering up that Knight with a Muskie. As the Dark Prince is just charging down, I get an Ice Spirit to try to freeze him up. He goes with the Hog. I go with an Ice Golem, bring everything in, get the Cannon down. He goes with a Skelly Barrel as well. Big push, beautiful Fireball, takes all of that out. And I also go with Evo Skellies. They don't do much there, unfortunately, for me, but that's alright. Everything still dies nonetheless. I go with the defensive Hog, worked out for me there. And then this Muskie Ice Golem is just kind of chipping away at everything. I log back the Dark Prince, making sure the Ice Golem survives a bit longer. Another Muskie on top of the Executioner. And then I just go with the Cannon for the Hog. Dark Prince actually charges, hits my Muskie and my Cannon. I go with the Fireball because I didn't think it would die, but it did. The Skelly Barrel goes down, I log it. I have to kite this Evo Knight, and actually my log also takes out the Dark Prince shield. Very nice there. Muskie just to take it out. Maybe should have placed the opposite lane just for all the stuff he's piling up there. He goes with a Hog. I go with a nice Fireball. Miss the Skelly Barrel, unfortunately, and Hog does get a shot, but not even close to the end of the world. We're doing absolutely fine here. Log back all the Skellies. He has a Dark Prince Knight going down the opposite lane. His Evo Knight is still kind of alive, so just kind of spamming defense at this point. Ice Golem, Cannon, Muskie taking everything out. He goes with another Skelly Barrel, but if you saw on the top right there, my Hog got enough shots for me to just Fireball down the tower. He missed his Cannon. Beauty game. Alright, boys, in the next match here, we're going up against a pretty toxic, pretty weird deck. It's E-Golem, or E-Giant, sorry, Balloon Bait. I go with an Ice Spirit. Skelly's just cycling away. He goes with E-Giant first place. I'll go out with the Musketeer, try and counter that thing up, get a lot of DPS on it. He's selecting the Balloon right here. I go with the Cannon to pull the E-Giant, and boom, he goes Balloon right at the bridge. and then I have to fireball that. He rages, he tornadoes, my musketeer is dead. This balloon's going ham. I have to get another musketeer down just to try and kill it, just in time. No, it gets 2 shots on the tower. Horrible way to start the game, but I guess it is what it is. Had to deal with it in the way I could. Wasn't expecting it. And here he goes with the Skarmy. Just completely shuts down my entire push. It shuts down my hog and my muskie just like that. And I am down elixir. And it doesn't look too great for me here. He's got a weird deck I wasn't expecting. And it's working for him. And this is just below 2,000. I think this is at like 1980, 1975 trophies, medals, whatever. But he goes with another E-Giant in the back. And he's trying to muster up another big balloon E-Giant push. So I go with the cannon in the like balloon pullable location, whatever you call that. And he does go with the balloon here. I go with Evo Skellies because I'm already back to them because I've been cycling them. He tries to NATO, but they stay alive. And then, yeah, the balloon just kind of dies to my muskie and my fireball, which I have to place at the last second. But I knew I could do it because he was lower on elixir than I knew or than I thought. And then here I just go with an Ice Golem just in front of the Musketeer. He goes with a Minion Horde. I was like, bro's got Minion Horde Skarmy? What is this? And I go with Skellies just to kind of kite those other minions away, not allow too much damage on my tower. I go with a Hog, pre-log hit every single skeleton in that Skarmy. Hog gets a bunch of shots, and then boom, he goes with a Goblin Gang right at double elixir time. I'm like, okay, E-Giant Balloon Bait, what is going on here? This is a little crazy. I go with an Ice Golem to counter those Goblins up. Split Skellies just a cycle, and then here I go with the Hog. He does go with the NATO, but he does let my Hog get a shot. Classic E-Giant player right there. I will take that shot all day long. Skeleton was kind of going ham on the tower as well. He goes with an E-Giant. I set up with another solid placed cannon here. I knew he didn't have a big spell at this point because he played all of his cards, so I know I can go with a Muskie and not worry about a Lightning or something. He goes with the Wizard, so I fireball it, and then I also log it because I don't want to see that. Even though he does have the bait cards, maybe it wasn't the smartest decision. I go with the Evo Skellies on top of the E-Giant. Takes him out pretty well. Muskie kind of doing an okay job here, but everything is going a little crazy, so an Ice Spirit pops up and kills absolutely everything. I go with a Muskie behind my tower for some reason. I think I was expecting this minions to do more damage, and then I can just log back the gang, I believe it was. And then here I go with an Ice Golem Hog, knowing he only had Skarmy. I also go Fireball just in case, and then actually gets a decent amount of damage, and he still tornadoes, and I am up a decent bit now. Finally, I believe I'm up a bit, at least. My eyes are kind of bad. But yeah, here I go with another cannon on defense for this E-Giant. He goes with the balloon. I go with the Hog at the same time. Thought he would go with the Minion Horde at the bridge, but he doesn't. Hog gets a shot on tower and finishes it off with the help of the Fireball. Goblin Gang was too late. Solid W there against a very unexpected, very strange deck. And don't worry, boys, this here is the last match. We're going up against EHDMC. He's playing, as you can tell, Expo, and I'm playing 2.6. It's a pretty difficult matchup, but yeah, we start off, cancel out the Ice Spirit and the Skeletons. This match is for 2,000 medals for me, maybe for him as well. And yeah, he goes with the Knight, kind of tanks some stuff up. I go with the Muskie, take it out. He does go with the Fireball, so I end up tanking my Musketeer, and he just logs my Muskie anyways. And here I go with the Hog, I believe. There it is. And he can just go with the Tesla, and we're just even. I'm up elixir, though, so that's always a great sign when you're playing this deck, because usually you're not up elixir, honestly. You're just kind of hoping for a cracked out defense. But here, I hit 10 elixir before him, so I just go with the log on his tower, get some damage because I know it's going to be a tough game. He goes with archers in the back, and then I go with skellies in the back, and here I go with a muskie in the back as well. He's not back to fireball. Now he is after placing those skellies, and here he does go with a fireball on my muskie, I believe. Yep, there it is, and my muskie's on 1 HP. Archer finishes him off, so I just go with an ice golem here, and just tank up that archer, knowing I can place a hog right behind it. He places a Knight, getting ready for Tesla, and he does place a Tesla. I place Ice Spirit behind my Hog, hoping for something. I get nothing. No tower damage whatsoever. Kind of sucks, but kind of a stalemate when you're playing against Expo, especially in single elixir here. You'll get lucky, and you'll probably win if you get a decent amount of damage in single. I go with Evo Skellies here on top of the Knight, take him out pretty decently, and then an Ice Spirit from him counters that right up. I go with a Muskie, letting him fireball my tower, and then he also logs, and then here I go Ice Golem Hog, but he's just in time, just ready with that Tesla, but he is down a decent amount of elixir. Gotta love to see that at least. even though it is quite the stalemate, and he just has fireballs on my tower. I go with an Ice Spirit at the bridge, hoping for something, but he just has his own Ice Spirit in cycle, and that's just charging down the lane. It's going to die to my tower, but I split Skellies anyways because I was close to 10 Elixir. I want to get back to my Evos as quickly as possible because those can win games, and that might be a foreshadowing or not. Here he goes with an Expo. I was kind of expecting it. I go with the Cannon, but then he also goes with the Knight. Skellies tanks everything up. I kind of fireball that Expo and the tower up, and then tank the rest of the Expo with some Skellies, and as well as the Musketeer walking down the right lane. He counters it up with an Ice Spirit there. Archers are split in the middle. He goes with an Expo in the middle. Not the greatest Expo, honestly. I can just go with the Cannon on top of that. I also go with the Fireball, and here is where the magic happens. Less than 30 seconds left, and I'm thinking, okay, I have Evo Skellies. He does have Evo Archers, but you know what? I'm going to just go in with a massive push. He used his log. I go with all this right at the bridge. Go with the log on the Tesla and the Knight. Evo Skelly start going ham. They reach his tower. He gets a little salty because he knows he's not going to reach 2k when I'm pulling off moves like this. Take down his entire tower after being at a stalemate for the entirety of regulation. 3, 2, 1. Game is over. Boom. Alright, boys, guess I have to do an outro here. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was me playing some 2.6, kind of in my focus mode at the end of the season, before the tilt at least. And yeah, glad you guys could watch till the end and you're listening to me now. That's pretty sick. But this season, going to be a bit different actually. We got level 15 on ladder. That is not going to be fun. I don't have many level 15 cards. I almost have 2.6 completely elited up. And then I have a couple of other extra cards here. But yeah, won't be too fun. We'll see kind of what happens. But that was your boy Cool Kid. Peace out and toodaloo.